Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of me building my park here in Planet Coaster. In episode 1, we started the park and built the police station, which didn't turn out right. So here is the new improved police station. I'm rather liking how this one turned out. It looks much nicer than my original plan. So I am pretty psyched about this one. I like its general layout. I like the look of it. And in here, you'll notice this little red thing. In the game, that's called a barricade. And what it does is there is technically a little bit of path behind that door that I don't really want guests to walk into. So this barricade, that they most likely won't, because there's nothing for them to see or do behind it. But just to play it safe, this barricade will block guests but not staff members. So I'm putting the barricade there just to keep anybody out that might walk back that way. Anyway, there is the new and improved police station, and I'm rather pleased with how it turned out. It looks rather nice. I like all the vegetation. And so right across the square here, we're going to build City Hall. Now this City Hall building will actually be functional. My plan is to stick an information booth in there. These booths in the game you can advertise parts of your park, or they also sell priority passes, which later on I'm probably make some of the bigger and nicer roller coasters have a priority pass. Anyway, here I'm deciding, okay, rather than guessing where to put the building, let's do this. Let's start the building, and then put the information booth down there. That way the automatic pathing will be the right height. So here we are laying out the foundation for the City Hall. And then I get to find the open information booth, plop it in, and see how the game automatically puts in a path to it. I'm being conscious here of our physically challenged guests by making it a ramp, not stairs. And then we're starting the building. Like the police station, it's going to be in the classic red brick. This is a small Texas town. They wouldn't have a lot of money for anything fancy. Now I'm trying to find something to stick in front of the shop front to cover up those blue bricks that come with the booth. In the game, there are several things they call shop fronts that are there to cover up things like that. So I find this one and I like it. It looks kind of official and showy. They wouldn't have had a lot of money to build City Hall in their budget, but they wanted some show involved. So now I'm putting in another little thing to kind of designate between the first floor and the second floor, and keeping the scale in. Now this is the concrete, and in my head I'm imagining they said, oh, well, can we have marble there? And they got told no, there's not enough money in the budget for marble. Here we'll give you some marble-ish colored cement. So I'm putting that around to kind of separate the first floor from the second floor. Unlike the police station, I figured the City Hall building would have, and there, when you create a vending booth, they automatically stick a vendor in there. And seeing how I'm not planning on opening the park anytime soon. I didn't just want her just sitting there, so I had to fire her. I'm sorry. I'll promise I'll hire you back up when I actually open the park. And here I'm now finding a nice corner piece for the thing to kind of set it off. I really like the advanced move. It really lets you put it in there really precisely. Over to there. Changing the colors to have it match that cement that's separating the first and second floors. And now here, I'm looking for something. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. I may be looking to try to figure out. Here you'll see a fine example of what I'm talking about the multi-select. It's really picky, see, and I got the corners, but I also got that wall piece and that wall piece somehow. So I finally just zoom in really close and I get it finally, and because of that you can duplicate and advance move them, and that makes building a lot easier and cuts down on time. So there we have all four corners covered. Now I go to the roof, and unlike the police station, I said, okay, maybe this building would actually have a roof. Well, I mean, all buildings will have a roof, of course, but maybe this one will have like your typical roof. So I'm going around here, getting the sides first, and then finding the corner piece, which doesn't quite fit. Not quite sure what happened there, so I find this other corner piece. Now that's for a different kind. Yes, it just doesn't quite, and that one's at a more steep of an angle. So I'm sitting here just saying, you know what? Not worth it. Let's just do like we did with the police station and go with the flat tar roof. See, actually I even got frustrated enough. I said, okay, let's finish the wall. We put it in some similar colors to the other cement parts and bring it around. See, in here I'm so used to just not even trying the multi-select that I didn't even try it. I really need to do that. It would cut way down on the build times. So here we go back to the ceiling, and like the police station, we're just going to make a nice flat tar roof. And here is me forgetting to confirm that yes, that's the color I want to change it to. Please let me just build with it now. So we're going to go with this white. It's called a white panel in the game, and just put it down and make it look like the City Hall has a nice flat tar roof. So now let's decorate the front. I figured this was City Hall. They wouldn't have a lot in the budget, but they would probably insist on having some sort of pillars to make it look official. So I found this nice concrete pillar. And there you can see I moved the grid blocks down to 1 meter squares so I could be a little more precise about where I put it. And then once again, here's another example of if I would just try the multi-select tool, build an entire column from top to bottom, and then just select it, duplicate it, and move them around. It would speed this up tremendously, rather than having to sit there and make sure, okay, each one of these is lined up. I could have just done this once and been done with it. And so at this point I figure, okay, these are columns. Columns need to have something on the top. There's one I try this way too big. Then I find this nice one that actually I think is actually considered part of the columns, concrete column set. So we come string along the side here, top here, and now it's time for windows. Looking for some windows that look like they would be on an official type building, and I really like the borders of these, so I put them to colors to match the concrete color. And we stick some windows in here. And so now, what did I try to do? Boy, I am kind of all over the place on this. We decided to put some nature outside. They would have some nature, and then also with this being Texas, we have a lot of oak trees around, so I figured an oak tree would be appropriate around there somewhere. And I figured the City Hall would have insisted on having a manicured hedge. So I'm putting a nice little hedges around the entrance of the City Hall. Here is, I believe I have on the snap to surface or snap to object, and so sometimes the hedge doesn't know, okay, do you want me to snap to the ground or do you want me to snap to this hedge next to it? And you get some kind of crazy things happen there every once in a while. So now we have a nice trimmed hedge in front of the city hall. And the other thing I figured is this place would need some flowers. And you can never really go wrong with roses. And plus, with this being in Texas, there's a variety of rose from Texas known as the yellow rose. So I figured they would have insisted on having some of those around. So the city hall is going to get a nice bunch of yellow roses in front of it. And then I'm spinning them around to get some variety because nature doesn't grow in patterns. So now I figure it's time. Oh yes, now it's time for a sign. At City Hall, it must have a sign. So I'm trying to find something that's big, maybe a little showy. And there we go. So nice big letters, City Hall. Change the colors to white so they'll show up a little better. Here I'm trying a technique I saw some other people do. Evidently some of the signs, if you push them into the wall far enough, the background and the framing will disappear and just the words will show up. Here I'm sticking a big I next to the information booth so the clients will know. Here's where you can come to buy your priority pass and find out about the park. So there's City Hall. I'm kind of pleased with it. I'm pretty pleased with it. The sides and the back will not get decorated until I determine if I can figure out if guests will be able to see it. Because A, I'm trying to save on part count, and B, that's what real parks do. If the guest isn't going to see it, they're not going to bother to decorate it. Anyway, I'll probably put some nature in there, maybe some trees, some more flowers. And then out this way is where we'll continue the road. We'll go out this way. And my idea is to put a couple more shops along this way. And then right next to the police station, there is kind of one more building I kind of want to build. It won't be a functional building. It'll just be for show. But it's just something I figured the city would also have. Because, I mean, if you've got a police department, you then more than likely have a fire department as well. And in one of the packs I bought, along with the police cars, come a fire truck. And here I am trying to find it. There it is. Yes, nice little fire truck. So I figured the town would have a fire station right next to the police station. So, yeah, I'm probably going to build me a fire station right there next to the police station. Kind of have the fire truck sitting out front. And then in the back here is maybe where I'll start some of the maintenance support kind of areas. Like I said, we'll come back out here. The road will come out here a ways, and then along one of the sides, one side I'll put some shops, probably a hat store and a gift shop. And then probably time to start thinking about some food shops. And then out this way we'll put Boston. And then the center, Colorado. Then out this side, if I've still got some pieces left over and the time and the energy, a portion based on California from the second game. And I know what you're saying now. At this point, you're going Dallas. This is an amusement park. Where are the rides? Well, in my thinking, they didn't show it in the game, but I'm assuming it was summertime. And in summertime, in small towns all over the country, particularly and I will say as well in Texas, there were always those small little carnivals that would come around and set up in an open field or in an empty parking lot. So my thinking is there was a carnival in town. I'm debating going back and forth between whether to make it in a parking lot or just an open field. I'm thinking now more open field. I'll save some building but I'm trying to find some rides that look like carnival type rides. Things I remember seeing that carnival would bring things that are easily set up and easily torn down, so they, after the run is over, they can go on and move on to the next town. I remember seeing things like these two, and then probably just to flesh it out, maybe a third one. I'm looking around to find something that's not huge and was something I would see at a carnival. And this one. So I'm debating on whether to put like all three or maybe just one or two of them. And I'm thinking maybe even go-karts. I know I've seen some carnivals that were, especially if they're on a empty parking lot, they just throw down some tires, make a track, and be done with it. So anyway, those are all going to go around here. Like I said, also around some shops and probably some food stands, because we definitely want our customers to eat and drink and spend their money and be not hungry and not thirsty. Anyway, so that's the game plan so far for the rest of this next part of the build. This next episode will probably be me putting in maybe the fire station, probably the fire station or the shops. I don't know. I'll definitely stick the road out, stretch the road out, and then start thinking about the carnival and the rest of it. Anyway, there's another view of the City Hall. I'm rather pleased with it. And a view of the police station that you didn't get to see from the first episode. And as it turns out, didn't look anything like the one I initially built anyway. I hope you liked the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye.